Before we jump in, quick context. I've been a supporter of InnoX for a while. Last year alone, I backed 3 products connected to the InnoX ecosystem, and they all delivered. So it's not theory for me. I've seen it for real. These teams ship. This year, we're teaming up to support new creators, and I'm excited to interview a bunch of these new entrepreneurs and bring their stories to our audience. So, Shay, for people meeting you and InnoX for the very first time, what is InnoX in like one clean sentence, and how does it fit into the bigger picture of XBotPark ecosystem?
Sure. So, hey guys, this is Shay, the marketing manager that works inside of InnoX. So, for those who doesn't know about us yet, so InnoX is a AI plus smart hardware innovation academy and incubator based in Shenzhen of China. And we help founders to go from 0 to 1, from early idea all the way to manufacturable, market-ready products by combining education, incubation, manufacturing, and capital all in one integrated ecosystem. For those who've seen us at CES, you may wonder like how InnoX is related to XBotPark. What's the differences? So I'm going to let you know. XBotPark and InnoX are both within like our founder, Professor Lee's innovation ecosystem, representing the same innovation model, naturally growing in different cities of China and industrial environment. XBotPark, which was founded earlier, has incubated pioneer companies such as Narwhal, the world's first integrated sweeping and mopping vacuum machine, which is also still a top tier global brand in its category, and InnoX, which is younger, rooted in Shenzhen, known as China's Silicon Valley. We thrive in international and industry dense environments, so with the strong focus on industry collaboration and global connectivity. Together, we leverage local universities, industries, and government resources to build international innovation hubs and help more bold ideas turning into real products that can be positively impact to our lives.
Where does an idea like this come up from? Like, where did InnoX, the idea behind it, and when did it start?
Yeah, so we were established in 2021 and we saw this recurring gap. A lot of brilliant engineers and designers, they have like strong ideas, but they failed not because of the technology itself, because they couldn't bridge the gap between conception to real world production, So InnoX was created to solve this gap, like this exact issue. So helping founders to turn ideas into products that can be actually built, shipped, and supported at scale.
Beautiful. I love it. And now, can you walk me through what a founder actually gets from InnoX in practical terms? Is it resources, facilities, mentorship, manufacturing support, investor, all of it?
Yeah, basically you covered it all. So we are very like hands-on compared to other incubators that exist on the market. So founders, they can get support across the full journey from user research, product definition, system architecture, prototyping, engineering trade-offs, manufacturing strategy, and go-to-market planning. So we don't just give like superficial advice, but also make the real decisions that can affect the cost, the quality, and the delivery timeline.
These aren't just shoes. They're wearable art, and take it from me, they don't disappoint. Rebrand Soul partners with independent artists to create limited edition shoes made to stand out. Each pair is a statement piece, bold, creative, and different from anything out there. So if you like me and love owning something truly unique, head over to rebrandsoul.com before these sell out.
And what are the most common gaps you see in early hardware teams that kill the campaigns later? Like, engineering, supply chain, compliance, budgeting, timelines, storytelling?
The biggest issue is like underestimating the reality and the complexity of the whole thing, right? So many founders or the startup teams, they focus only on the features, the demos, but they haven't thought through the whole manufacturing yield, the certification issue, the tooling risks, to cross-cultural communication, right? As we do not share the same culture and language, and after-sales support. So we should be optimistic, but not too much. So we try to teach our founders to be realistic, but at early stage,
Beautiful.
as early as possible. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I get it. So, and for clarity, we know what you do, which is a lot. So what does InnoX not do? Like, where do founders need to bring their own team or partners in so that their expectations are real?
What we do not do is that we do not recommend, we do not allow our founders to launch any before they are actually ready. So because if a product is not manufacturable, or as you said, like the supply chain is not validated, we would rather delay the whole process, like to launch, rather than like risk damaging trust with our users and backers, like the customers, right?
So when a startup comes to InnoX, how do you evaluate whether they're legitimate and ready to build something real?
Like a project that is like authentic and
Yeah.
etc.
Like
Yeah. So
what's your vetting process? Let's say I come to you with an idea, right?
mhm.
What's your criteria for you to decide whether or not to take that idea on as a project that you think can come to fruition?
You know, I love to tinker, but all the tinkering in the world isn't useful unless it starts with a good idea. So, look around for a need and start coming up with ideas to fill that need. One idea will lead to another, and before you know it, you've done it. See a need, fill a need.
First of all, does it really, like the problem they're trying to solve, does it really matter to me and you, for example, to the users? It can be on for a niche market, but it has to solve a market issue that has a technical barrier, and whether like our startup founders, they have this ability to learn fast, and the third thing is that if this product can be realistically manufactured and delivered within a reasonable like budget and timeline, it has to like match all these criteria.
Got it. And what would be
Mm.
like the biggest red flag, the biggest warning sign when somebody comes to you that you're not going to want to take that project on?
Basically, when you see an over promising timeline, that's something you should be careful, because we know that the whole manufacturing, the supply chain it takes a period of time, especially when it comes to the mass production, right?
Mhm.
Another one is that when the founders themselves, the core team members, they cannot even explain their cost structure, their supply chain, if they don't know themselves how to build a product. So delays are going to happen eventually.
And what are the biggest green flags? Basically the opposite of the red flags? Or is there something in particular that stands out that you go, we're going to go with this?
When the founders, they're transparent about the risk and about the trade-offs, that's a good sign, because the team, they are honest about everything, like the whole process, they are aware about it, and they are willing to share like the whole process. That's the first thing. The second thing is that they've already built themselves manually, like the prototype, and they've broken a few of them. They try to iterate the products themselves, not just making the render, making the video, making a concept. We should see whether this something close to the reality. Yeah, not just in their imagination. That's
And it
basically the idea.
it could be like a 3D model or something like that. Something that some sort of work, like for instance, Logical. With Logical, they built that whole thing. Sammy built that whole thing on a 3D model. So when they shot that video, they had to be really careful because they didn't want it to break. But it's delivering soon, and I'm very excited about that. So from your perspective, what's the number one thing creators misunderstand about the whole crowdfunding arena?
Many of them think that crowdfunding is just marketing campaign, but we know that it's much more than that. It's a public commitment. So when you take money from people, from backers, you are responsible for that. You have to do the execution, the communication, and the delivery properly. And usually it's much more intense and a lot of pressure in reality. But people, they just usually what happens is they underestimate how difficult, how complex the whole thing is.
Makes sense. So before a team ever hits the launch button, what must be true? Like prototype, staging, DFM, supplier quotes, testing, certification. What's like the minimum bar that you need to set so that they can be successful?
Yeah, actually, what you said is very, very right, correct. And usually, what we do is that you must have at least a working prototype, not just something you're gonna show like physically, but not working. So a working prototype, a validated supply chain path, and a realistic production timeline. That everything must be like validated before, like in advance, then you can start your Kickstarter project. So if any of the things that I just mentioned is missing, maybe the project itself can generate some money, but operationally speaking, it's a failure. So you must experience some of them, like unfortunately, right? People, they promise something, but they cannot deliver on time. Yeah.
All too well, and that. That's why I started this podcast.
Yes.
It
Thank
was,
you for doing this. Yes. Yes.
Are you kidding? Thanks for being on here. So that leads me right into the next question, which is, what are realistic timelines from prototype to production to fulfillment, and where do you see that teams usually get burned the most?
So in Shenzhen, the place where we are located, for the prototype, it's very fast. From conception to prototype, like in hand, it can take up to 1 week. That's really fast. However,
very
this
fast.
is not the most difficult part, right? The mass production, when you have to like make something at scale, it's 10 times, 100 times more difficult. So usually for hardware, it takes like from 9 to 18 months to be realistic. So if any project you guys see on the internet that is significantly shorter than what I just said for a hardware, like you must question yourself. That must be some risk that's been ignored, and those risks are going to surface later. You have to question about the project.
That makes a lot of sense. And when you say on the internet, we're talking about if you see a campaign on Indiegogo or Kickstarter and it says a very complex product and they're going to deliver next month, you might want to think twice about backing that one.
Yes, for sure.
What are the budget line items do founders consistently forget, and then they wind up coming back and wrecking them later on?
Yeah, that happens a lot. Usually people, they only think about like the cost of the product itself, the production, but that's not everything. You have to consider like the tooling revisions, the certification delays, the logistics, the after sales support. Everything has a cost. Every single process is like, it's not for free, right? You have to consider everything, because if not, like it will destroy the whole margin, right? It's not a win-win situation.
True. So for backers that are watching, we hope there are a lot of them, right? Let's see, what are the 3 things you look for in like a campaign that signal this team can deliver?
If I recommend to the backers, the first thing is that you do not only look at the videos. You have to look beyond the videos, right? No matter that video is made by the team itself or by the influencers, you have to see the whole team. They understand like what is their knowledge towards the manufacturing part, whether the timeline seems conservative, and whether they communicate clearly with transparency, with honesty with you. If not, they are trying to hide something, or they just don't know the whole process. So yeah, keep that in mind.
side would be, what are the 3 biggest things that scream out, this is not going to happen, it's going to be a mess? What would those 3 things be?
So when you see a page that is full of like, renders, not even something that is showing like the place they're making the products. I'm not even talking about the factory, even the picture of their offices making different things, iterating the products, how long they've been started the project since like which year, which day, and why they even started the whole thing. And what is the timeline, it has to be very clear. So if you don't see like a clear timeline and you don't see like realistic environment, like where they work and about like if they know where to make their products and so on, usually you just do not back them because it's too much of risk.
Great information. So if a creator wants to contact InnoX and potentially come to you for like an interview, what should they have ready? And we know that a prototype for sure is a big plus. Other than that, what do you want to see first? I know you touched on a lot of it, but like if somebody, like people want, let's say there's a backer that wants to come to you, what do you want to see that would help them get the project off the ground?
Yeah, so we welcome everyone that want to start their business within this hardware domain to join us. Please start by clearly explaining the problem you are solving and who the product is for, at which stage you are at. And it has to be hardware because we do not do anything that is purely AI or purely software. That's the minimum requirement that we ask for. And, we are really like less interested into like hype. We are more interested in founders who are serious about building something real, and we are always long-term oriented, like long-term business oriented. That's the criteria. So yes, feel free to contact us and send us your BP.
I'm going to put it in the description and all, but where should they contact you? What's the best way to reach you?
Because
Would be
we are very active on the internet. So you can visit our official website, and we have our Instagram page, a LinkedIn page. So yes, feel free to reach out to us by sending us email or just the DM us. And of course, stay tuned with our crowdfund junkie. Yeah, that's for sure. We're gonna work a lot together.
Final question. What's the one honest piece of advice you wish every founder would hear before launching a campaign?
So it's the still same idea, is to respect the reality. The earlier you face the manufacturing process, the cost, the execution constraints, and the more freedom you will have. Face the reality as early as possible.
That's awesome. The first place that we go to, and I went there with Poncho, immediately I love going to XBotPark because just the energy that's there. And I mean, we were blown away. It was so much fun, honestly. And you remember last year, the big deal for me was Lisom, the dishwasher. I mean, I still use that thing like almost every day at my office. It's just the best product. And it said a lot about XBotPark because what I found true was the creators that were there, they were on a level totally different from what I was used to. The communication, the commitment that they had to crowdfunding, their enthusiasm, their openness, the way they had product there for them. You could touch it, you could play with it. And then this year going there and meeting so many of the people that are going to be on the show, like Frank. This is the coolest portable Pilates machine that they actually got me onto in my jeans at CES, which was totally hilarious. Yeah, it took them like 10 minutes to convince me to go on it, but why not? It was a lot of fun. But Frank's going to come on the show and talk about the process, and it really is an amazing product.
The project is actually on Kickstarter. So for those who do not know about the project or the product, feel free to check it out on the Kickstarter. It's called Pavo, Pavo, Pavo.
The one that I also really love is it a Squeaker?
Squeaker, yes. The Tomodachi, the small companionship.
Yeah, that grows.
Yeah, product.
And it grows.
It's really cute.
Like, it really is cute.
Yeah.
That's another one. Are there any of the ones that we met there at the show? Any of them in particular that you want to invite to be on Crowdfund Junkie?
So besides Hubble, which is actually alive, we have bunch of other projects that are coming soon. We have like the sweet car. You also have like I don't know if you remember, it's like the multifunctional cooker, the griller machine that cooks in different way according to the angle of the machine. I don't know if you remember, they were there as well at CS. Besides Pablo, every other project is going on live from March to like September. We have like projects going on live. I'm gonna invite like all of them to be on the podcast with Philip. So you guys can learn more about like very authentic and like very cute products that are gonna deliver for sure.
That's what the backers want to hear, that going to deliver. And that's one thing that I can say about your organization. When you back a product, it delivers. I'm excited. I can't wait to get the list of people, Frank and the rest of them. What's going to be really cool is that I don't know of any other platform where people will get to see products that are not even on Kickstarter yet. Because backers love being one of the first people to get into the deal. Because the first deals are always the best. The first 50, the first 100. So this will be a cool opportunity for people that are watching the show to get in line and hop on stuff before it gets to that next level where they don't get as much of a deal as when it first launches. So that's going to be cool. Shay, thank you for being on Crowdfund Junkie. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And also thank you for all that you do with your team. You know that I'm a huge fan. I love going to the XBotPark every CES and seeing all the creators. Next week, we're going to have another amazing guest on. That's Kelly from Pledgebox, who's going to be my guest. We're excited to announce that our collaboration with Pledgebox and how we feel that this is also going to change the landscape of crowdfunding.